my video editing software is not working right now, so I'm going to do it this way. This rocket I didn't have ready. I was just doing an example. I'm loading up water right at the launcher. Everybody really should have their water in there ready to go. Should bring the rocket upside down to the launcher, and here's why. You can see play here. It's how you load it. You push the plug in when it's upside down. Now the water can't spill out. Then hook the jaws on, then slide that little collar up. And it's hard to do all that with the parachute in place, so I recommend people just bring it up here and then wrap the parachute there. But they need to practice so they can wrap the parachute up fast, pack it up. So here's my method. Make sure everything's not tangled. And then I use kind of what I call the accordion fold on the big chute. And then the pilot chute I just set on top. So I'm going to keep accordion folding back and forth till I get to a little bit of this string left, and then do a few wraps. So that keeps that all compact. This little chute, which isn't sometimes necessary, but when you have tough conditions, it helps the chute deploy. I've never had it fail. So now I'm putting this on, keeping everything underneath the flange. That flange right there is going to direct air around the body of the rocket and cause the body of the rocket to draft behind the flange. Here I am moving my hands over, showing what the air is going to do. So making sure everything's set. This is the launch lever. It needs to be pointed toward whoever's going to launch. I'm going to put about 20 psi in here, well, maybe 30. There's my gauge down there. My gauge on my pump wasn't working very well, and I actually accidentally had a rocket explode. I thought it was 100 psi, but it must have been 150 or so. Sure seemed like I was pumping a long time. You can see how the rocket was wobbling, and then all of a sudden it goes, and it sort of pops into place. This is the time to adjust it before you get a whole lot of pressure in there. One time a rocket took off while somebody was adjusting it with a lot of pressure, and one of these little fins cut the webbing between their fingers. Notice the holes right here. I didn't have my stapler with me, so I stuck a hot nail through this fin a few times and then pounded the plastic. It's sort of like riveting the plastic with itself. That was one that I ripped off in a video. I had to replace it. So get to 100 psi and then move on to the next step. Actually, I skipped a little something. What I skipped was adding shims. So here, and I also skipped staking this thing down. So I've got these little kind of like croquet stakes that I made out of some wire. You could use coat hangers, just bent it over, staking each of the legs. And then depending on the wind and depending on the level of the ground, I'll take some of these pieces of plywood and stick them under the feet and get it tilted a little bit into the wind so that it kind of goes up over the launch area. If there's a wind and the parachute opens, it's going to just travel. There's no avoiding that. So next step is to have to launch this thing. I'll make some